Master Builders Award, that recipient, those people who received it, reads like a list of who's who icons in the industry. Since its inception in 1989, there have been 29 individuals bestowed with this award. As you can see from the list, they symbolize the great leaders that we've had within MBI, also within the Iowa construction industry, and also within their communities. And now it's time to set the stage to announce the individuals selected as most deserving of those candidates nominated. The Build Iowa Award recipients and nominees exemplify the tenets of the organization: skill, integrity, and responsibility. And they are judged on their performance both within the construction industry and within their communities. The process began several months ago when we solicited nominations from the membership. Any member can nominate any other member that he or she feels is deserving of the award. In making the selection, the committee gave particular attention to how each finalist performed in 4 key areas: contribution to the industry, contribution to the community, professionalism in business dealings, and professionalism in construction projects. This year's award recipient is a past member of the MBI Board of Directors, actually serving as chairman of the board in 2003. He has both served and chaired numerous committees at Master Builders of Iowa, including the following: MBI Governance and Affairs Committee, 08 to present; MBI Board of Regents Liaison Committee, 2004 to 2006; Iowa Construction Industry Forum, 03 to 06; Iowa State Fundraising Subcommittee, 2004; CM Task Force Committee, 03 and 04; Safety Strategic Planning Committee, 03 and 04; Scholarship Academy Advisory Committee, 03 and 04; MBI PAT 750 Club member, 2004 through 2013; Quality and Construction Committee, 91 through 95, brought him back again, 98, 99. Industry Relations Committee, 96, Education Committee, 1999. I'm not certain there are any other committees he could have been on. Today's Build Iowa Award recipient has also been extremely active in his local community. He devotes much of his time to support and volunteering with various charities, including Greater Des Moines Metropolitan YMCA, serving on the board, the executive committee, and as past chair. As a key financial contributor to the YMCA, he was honored to be the 2012 recipient of the Greater Des Moines YMCA Service to Youth Award. He has also been active as a past building committee for St. Francis of Assisi, campaign volunteer for United Way, and a member of the esteemed group Alexis de Tocqueville Society. He also served with Youth Emergency Services and Shelter on their board of directors, executive committee, and also past member there, as well as serving on the Civic Center of Greater Des Moines Board of Directors. The 3 projects which he is very proud and exemplify some of his best efforts include Novelty Iron Works in Dubuque, Iowa; Wellmark YMCA, formerly Riverfront YMCA in Des Moines; and the Des Moines Public Library here in Des Moines. Suffice to say, today's award recipient is always there to assist and volunteer with his leadership, time, talent, energy, not only to the industry, but to the community as well. Now I'd like you to listen to what some of his business colleagues, associates, and friends have to say.
I met Jim when they moved into town from Colorado. He lived across the street. He had 3 little boys, and I had 2 little boys at the time. So we got to know each other as neighbors first.
Well, I met Jim about 13 years ago when I moved to town to take the job here in Des Moines, and he served on our YMCA board, and he's been a great friend ever since.
Probably known Jim about 25 years. First impression of Jim was an outgoing, gregarious guy that liked talking to people.
And he has an incredible energy and incredible professional interest in the construction industry. I've always felt that his personal enthusiasm for construction and for architecture, from my perspective as an architect, was unique among contractors that I've worked with.
Jim is a professional. He certainly knows the business. He's been in it for a long time. And his word is as good as gold. And when you combine those qualities, you've got someone that's a very successful person.
There's two facets of him. One of them is people. The people who work for him love him. They jump off the roof for him. They really do. Second thing is the customers. Customers would have the same impression. They really would like to build buildings with him. They do it because of Jim Simmons.
Jim has an extraordinary capacity to work with people, including difficult people, and make them feel good about what they're doing and what he can do for them. He's just a wonderful guy.
Well, I've known Jim for about 25 years, and in that 25 years, I have never known Jim to not honor his word. He has an incredible personal integrity, and I think that's really important.
Skills are beyond reproach. He did a great job for White's company for years, and he did a wonderful job for the Russell for processes and how the whole building process goes to work.
Skill, integrity, and responsibility certainly describe Jim. However, what means so much to me is that he takes personal pride in every single job, and he's going to make sure it's done right, and he puts his word behind it.
You can trust him. That's a big deal in this day and age, is trust, man. You got to be able to, if you can trust somebody that you don't even need a contract, man, that's way big. So all those things, he's beyond reproach on all of them.
Jim, congratulations on receiving this award. I'm thrilled that the industry and your peers recognize what you've done. And I'd love to hear you drive down the street someday and talk and point out the different things you've had a hand in. You've had a huge impact on not only the profession, but what Des Moines is as a place to live, and what the construction community is as a group of people to work with. Thanks for all you've done, and congratulations.
Jim, to my friend, to my colleague, congratulations, well deserved.
Couldn't happen to a better guy. Couldn't happen to a better guy in the industry. We would look forward to more of the same in the industry with your present employer.
Congratulations on this award. I think it's an exceptional award, and I think you're certainly deserving of it. And I want to thank you for the 25 years of work that we had together, where, again, there was never a harsh word spoken, and I think we achieved some really special building projects together. Thank you for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2015 Bill Nye Award recipient, Mr. Jim Simmons.
Good morning. That was testimonials. First off, thank you all for coming to breakfast this morning. Special thanks to my friends at Holmes Murphy for sponsoring this breakfast. Nick Henderson, who was unable to be here, but Craig Henson, Jay, Brian Dimerly. These gentlemen are risk management professionals and surety professionals, and I've worked with them for decades, and a pleasure to work with. Also a special thanks to friends and family. Family from Iowa come together. And I've got a brother that came in from North Carolina, actually out of New York City, to join us today. Gary, thanks for making the extra effort. All of your attendance makes today special. The Build Iowa Award is a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's a legacy award. I didn't think I was old enough for it, quite frankly, but I am. The past recipients are icons in the Iowa construction industry. They embodied skill, integrity, and responsibility in all they did. I stand before you humbled to be the 2015 recipient of this award and to join such a distinguished group. With this award, I would like to take license for a few minutes. I'd like to share some background, some thoughts, and maybe musings from a construction career that spans over 50 years. So, my dad was the reason I chose to get into the construction industry. My father came from the other side of the tracks in a family of brick masons. He worked as a union mason for over a decade before starting a remodeling contracting business, James Simmons and Sons. He was an entrepreneur with an 8th grade education. The business was residential masonry and concrete work. It was located in Pittsburgh. My brother Don runs that company to this day. As the oldest of 3 sons, it only seemed natural that I would get involved in construction. You see, the family talked about his work, my dad's work, every night at dinner. Growing up, he'd work 6 and 7 days a week. Almost every night after dinner, the truck had to be unloaded from the day's work and then reloaded for the next day's work. All the boys would take turns helping. Some kids learned how to play ball with their dad. I was taught how to pull nails from concrete formwork using a crowbar before I was 10. And in high school, I worked for my dad, my grandfather, and my uncles, all masons. The turning point for me was the summer after high school. I was a mason tender. We were building foundation walls for a big luxury home. So the mason tender, then, like today, mixed mortar, stock, brick, and block for the masons. So this foundation wall is being constructed of 12-inch block. In fact, Gensko should be. Mark Gensko here maybe this morning. But anyhow, it's 12-inch block. Each block weighs about 80 pounds. My cousin and I, he's a football player, right? He's a high school quarterback. We're both stocking a lift of scaffolding with block. My cousin takes one block in each hand, carries it from a pallet, and places the block up on a lift of scaffolding. He did that most of the morning. I couldn't do that. After about 10 minutes, I needed 2 hands to lift up a single block. And so it took me twice as long to get it done. And so my dad's counsel about the importance of going to college was now made clear. Although I certainly respected the skill and strength of the tradespersons I worked with, I couldn't compete in that way. I needed a role where I could excel without being the strongest guy on site. Anyhow, Dad, I wish you were here to share this moment. Be proud. Let's talk about professionalism for a moment. My goal throughout my career has been to improve professionalism in our industry. So let me give you some background. When I came out of college in the mid-70s, contractors, in my perception, contractors were perceived as second-tier partners in the design and construction industry. They were not always given the respect afforded an equal or a peer. By the same token, contractors were not always deserving of that respect. There was a lot of litigation and change order abuse. It was the order of the day. The contractor was perceived as the adversary. I was fortunate to be a part of a wave of new thinking, whereby the contractor is a valued partner, not an adversary. The contractor is a construction professional. The contractor is the owner's advocate in the markets. This new approach to business has since been embraced, and the industry's flourished in that direction. The approach is now collegial. Players view themselves as partners. With this new direction, I dedicated myself to creating and leading collaborative teams. I enjoyed building relationships with owners, architects, engineers, and contractor partners. It was an honor to serve my clients and work with design and construction professionals across the board, including tradespersons, foremen, field supervisors, project management, and others. I loved it all, every bit of it. Next, let me speak for a minute regarding mentoring. Any success I may have achieved during my career is due in large part to mentors. They saw in me themselves earlier in their careers and took the time and energy to coach and guide me. There are many people to acknowledge. Buck Lamb, Don Thorpe, Mike Chacha. These are people who helped me in my formative years prior to coming to Des Moines. Once here in Des Moines, people like Mike Carlstrom, Jerry Gosling, and Glenn DeStichter in more recent years. To all of my mentors, thank you. You've heard the expression, as you've been given much, much is expected. So is true in mentoring. What I was taught early on and affirmed over the years is that you learn as much and more from your mentees as you do teaching as a mentor. Kind of like Christmas. It's better to give than to receive. To that end, I thank all of my mentees for the learning I have experienced working with you. Thank you. My involvement with founding the ACE Iowa chapter, ACE standing for Architects, Contractors, and Engineers, was driven in large part by my desire to create a formalized industry structure for individuals in our industry to give back. I would encourage all of you to consider ACE as a mentoring option. Let me mention Luke this morning. Luke was my youngest son. He was a young 24-year-old construction professional working in Colorado when his life was cut short. It's my life's work that he has not forgotten. To that end, I want to thank MBI for their partnership in creating the Luke Altnick Simmons MBI ACE Scholarship. Since 2007, a scholarship has been given annually to a worthy high school student aspiring to become involved in the design and construction industry. I make that scholarship award presentation personally, and I talk about Luke. Luke, I wish you could be here today. You are not forgotten. I was honored to serve on the MBI board. I was privileged to work with other construction professionals and leaders. Darrell Ball, Chuck McComas, Jim Estes, Bob Marsh, Gene Linhart, Tim Conlon, and others. I learned a lot working with them. We set aside our competitive spirits, worked to ensure fairness instead of advantage, and came together for the betterment of the industry. This underlying belief has guided MBI for over a century. Also, I had the honor to work closely with MBI staff led by Scott Norville. We are truly blessed to have professional staff to pursue on our behalf our industry initiatives and support us. I encourage all of you to give back to our industry through MBI. You'll have no regrets, and the returns will far outweigh your efforts. What does the future hold? This is my last year working full-time in the construction industry. I've been slowing down recently, some would say quite some time. And this process will continue through year end. There are many things I want to do, and some I'm still exploring. Here's what I know for sure. I go forward with the knowledge that in the first half of my life, I pursued success. And that the second half of life, I will focus on significance. What might that look like? A couple examples. Haley is our daughter, married to Michael, and mother to our 5 grandchildren. My goal is to become the best Papa Jim possible, working with Kathy, Gigi, for our grandchildren. Second, I want to work with our son Jake to make and sell more back pocket beer. We're involved with a brewery in Coralville, Iowa, and Jake is the master brewer. I want to support Zach and Britt in their careers and passions. Britt is our aspiring actress, and Zach is our technology entrepreneur in Seattle. I want to spend more time with my wife, Kathy. I want to continue to volunteer, be an elder in my church, community, and industry. I think I still have something to give. I want to further develop my spirituality. So with those thoughts, I will close. I want to thank Jim Russell for this nomination and our professional relationship and friendship. It's been a great run, approaching a decade of working together. Names like Bob Johnson, Greg Sad, and Lockport will be forever etched in my psyche. I also want to acknowledge Brian Hart, Chuck Follett, Charles, Vernon Delpas, and Alan Bowman for their testimonials and kind words. Gentlemen, this day is special, and your words help make it so. Finally, my thanks to Kathy. I thank her for continued love and support as we go forward on our second half of life. She knows me better than anybody, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm a lucky guy to have her in my life. Thank you. And with that, thanks to all of you for sharing this special day